Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, and I have my witness form for you.
Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity to testify here as I did in the House hearing. Mr. Chairman, much of my remarks will be directed to St. Louis, and some people say, well, why St. Louis when you're talking about a statewide issue? The simple fact is 40% of our state's population in the metro area and 50% of our state's economic activity generated there.
Yep.
A couple of
Lieutenant Governor, hold on just a minute. Everybody have cameras and everything. You put them up. Put them up. No cameras. No with your iPhones, and don't get caught with them. If you do, you're going to be asked to leave in short order. There is the whole process will be filmed. There'll be a video of it that you can tap into by the legislators, but from in. And you gentlemen, your camera behind you over there, you'll have to step to the side until time comes, because we're doing this thing from gavel to gavel. I apologize, Lieutenant Governor. You're welcome to go on.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, the last Sunday in February, we Missourians awoke to a startling headline in the Post-Dispatch, Sunday edition. 5 years after the Great Recession, St. Louis has a jobs problem. St. Louis has a jobs problem. Slow recovery. Metropolitan area trails the nation in jobs growth. Employment growth with a chart lags in St. Louis. You go inside. Population growth has been stagnant. Since 1970, the population growth in the metro St. Louis area, 1%. That's essentially no growth in 45 years. What we've done is move population around, out of the city, Jefferson County, St. Charles County, Franklin County, Lincoln County, and others. The state that I grew up in had more congressional seats. The state my parents were born into in Missouri in the 1920s, it astonishes some people because we don't talk about it today. Missouri had 16 congressional seats, reflecting our relative strength in population vis-a-vis the other 49 states. The Missouri I grew up in, I was born in the 50s, throughout the 60s and 70s, we had 10 seats, meaning we had 12 electoral votes. In 1981, we had not kept pace. We had grown a little bit, but we had not kept pace with the faster growing states, all of which are right-to-work states, or just about all of them. And we lost a seat. We went to 9. We had 9 seats for 30 years, and in the 2011 decennial census, when that was done, we lost another seat and went to 8 seats. Committee members may or may not know, on current trajectory, we are on track to lose another seat. Another seat will be lost, and we'll be at 7 and only 9 electoral votes. Now, I don't know about you, Mr. Chairman, but I don't want to live in a Missouri that is less than half as important vis-a-vis the other states as we used to be, and shrinking in importance. Freedom to work states attract business investments, leading to more jobs. Right-to-work states have lower unemployment rates than forced union states. The top 5 states with the lowest unemployment are right-to-work states. The bottom 5 are forced union states. The highest states with the 10 states with the highest percentage gains in household employment from the recession's end through September of 2012 are all right-to-work states. Conversely, 9 of the 12 states with the worst job losses over the same period are forced union. From 2003 to 2008, according to the United States Department of Labor, jobs in right-to-work states, such as we'd be under Senator Brown's bill, grew at 9.1%, 2.5 times faster than in forced union states. Now, Mr. Chairman, I have had the privilege in a previous administration to make the trip with the Missouri Department of Economic Development to New York City. We're in a tall building in Manhattan. We hosted the Japanese American Chamber of Commerce, and the executives from Mitsubishi and Kawasaki and other leading Japanese companies came in, and they're very polite. We put on a nice reception for them. We say, we want your investment in Missouri. And they asked a question to which they already knew the answer with their native politeness. They said, are you a right-to-work state? When we had to answer no, they politely let us know, call us back when you're a right-to-work state, because that's where we're investing. Almost 70% of business executives specify right to work as a key that is important or very important in site selection. according to the annual corporate survey published by Area Development Magazine. Oklahoma, before the most recent three Great Lakes states, they are Indiana, Michigan, and Wisconsin just yesterday. But before them, the most recent state to adopt right to work was Oklahoma in 2001. If you don't remember anything else, remember this. While Missouri was losing union jobs last year by the tens of thousands, our neighbors in Oklahoma, 13 years after adopting right to work, added 10,000 union jobs. That proves that this measure is not anti-union. If a union can sell itself to its members under a voluntary basis, good for them. If they can convince workers that they add value and the dues are worth it, good for them. I say, bring it on, and the experience of Oklahoma proves that. Average compensation per private sector worker in right-to-work states is higher than in forced unionism states, once one accounts for regional differences in the cost of living. Since 2007, all of Missouri's bordering right-to-work states, and 6 of our bordering states out of 8 are right-to-work, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Tennessee, all 6 of them have enjoyed a higher percentage increase in personal income than has Missouri. Now, these are the facts. Of course, this isn't merely about economics. A moral issue is also at stake. Why do opponents of freedom to work want to force Missourians into union just to keep their jobs? Why do they insist that workers be forced to bankroll political activities those workers do not support? These opponents will characterize this today as this legislation is union busting. Of course, as the Oklahoma example, among others, illustrates, right to work does nothing of the kind. It simply prevents unions from compelling membership as a condition of employment. Now, the opponents here today will disparage the motives of right to work supporters. But what other than naked self-interest motivates the opponents of right to work? When workers actually have a choice, union membership often falls dramatically. That saves workers a lot of money when they're finally given a choice. However, if a union truly provides quality service and responds to its members' needs, no coercion needs to be part of the equation. It need not worry about its members bailing out when given the freedom to choose. I want to acquaint you with some other headlines from the Post-Dispatch. One is September 2013. This is front page, U.S. Census data. Poverty up, income down. 2010 census data is more bad news for area families. The people who oppose this bill are okay with that, Mr. Chairman. They're okay with the status quo, and I'm not. I want to move us toward the place where young people are moving for opportunities. And here, a year ago, March 14th of last year, also in the Post-Dispatch, the young face bleak job market. Only 31% of St. Louisans aged 16 to 19 were employed in 2012, down 47% in 2000. Are some of the troubles we have on the streets of the metropolitan St. Louis area, some kids in that age group or near that age group who should be employed and are not? I ask you, do you know some young people who graduating school in St. Louis or anywhere in the state of Missouri aren't looking to stay here? They're headed for Dallas. They're headed for San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Scottsdale, Tempe, Phoenix, Charlotte, North Carolina, Atlanta. That's where things are going. That's where our talented young people are. We're losing them. And at the same time as the 2013 article appeared in the Post-Dispatch, KMOX Radio had a report based on United Van Lines. United Van Lines is interesting where they're located, right? The nation's largest moving company is located on I-44. What are they across from? They're across from where 2 Chrysler plants used to be until a few years ago. Now it's a nearly 300-acre vacant lot. They're trying to decide what its highest and best use is now. But there were thousands of Missourians employed there. Chrysler had 2 plants. St. Louis was second only to Detroit in production of autos. We had 4 plants. Until 1981, every Corvette Stingray ever made was not only made in St. Louis, it was made in the city of St. Louis on the north side. It's hard to imagine that today. That production went south. Tennessee and states like it had no auto production. They had no auto assembly. Mississippi, the rest of those states had no auto assembly as recently as 1980. They have a whole bunch of it now, and thousands of jobs, and not just assembly, but parts plants that used to be in Missouri. We are losing out. We're on a trajectory to be down to 7 congressional seats, and the opponents of this bill, I guess, are okay with that. Well, I'm not okay with that. The trend in this nation is toward right to work. It's toward freedom to work. And the evidence is overwhelming, and I ask your favorable consideration of this bill. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Next up, the mayor of St. Louis, Mayor Slay, would be